Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought we would make a card that was inspired by a Pinterest post, and I thought it was really cute. So it's using this tree punch, which is part of a retired stamp and punch set called Perfectly Plaid, I think, on the research I've done. But I was looking for something just to make a few quick and simple Christmas cards, and I really loved this card, so I went ahead and created several. And this is using some of our new 12 by 12 paper, and that is called Joy of Christmas, the designer series paper. So not these are another paper thing, but I've been in here playing, well, cleaning and then playing. Okay, so this has some really pretty papers. I did a video before showing these papers, and I'm sure you've seen them around, but I'm using this page here as one of the pieces. And then I just punched the trees, as you can see, out of that. And I used the backside. I was going to use red and green, but I really like the back. They have this wood or brownish texture, and I really like that. So I did this in Old Olive, this one in Cherry Cobbler, this one in Shaded Spruce, and this one is in Real Red, which is in, all four of those colors are in this paper. So one of the things that I really liked about this card is the embossing folder. So it has the wood grain. Here's the 3D timber embossing folder, if you have that. It has the wood grain, and the other thing is there were planks in it. It looked like planks, you know, just white planks. So I was trying to figure, I thought, oh, that's too bad I don't have the embossing folder that puts planks in it, but you can put planks in it on your own. I did that on these cards. And I just want to check and see if this 3D embossing folder, this timber, is available still, because I can't remember. Let's check in really quick in our catalog. Okay, the Timber 3D embossing folder is still available in our catalog, so you can still get that. And let me show you, I'm going to show you how to make the planks in it, and then we're going to put a card together. The other part, the other dies I'm using, now you can cut these out yourself to that size, and let me measure. So this piece here is about 3.5, 2 1/4 by about 3.5 approximately. So you could cut that out that way. And then this red piece here is approximately 2 3/4 by 1 3/8. But I'm using the dies. So I'm going to go ahead and move these out of the way here. I'm using the stitched rectangle dies here, and I don't know what size they are, which one they are, because there's a lot of them, so I'd have to put them all together to figure it out. So it's the one that measures about 3 3/4 by 2 3/8 for the bottom piece, the patterned DSP, and then for the sentiment strip, it's the one that's about 2 7/8 by 1 and almost 5/8. So it's those two rectangles, and of course you can cut any size you want on there that fits on the card front. So I've done most of the work ahead of time for the cards, because some of what I'm doing is sort of time consuming, but not really. So I've already embossed the timber, and you're going to want, when you're using the timber, the 3D embossing folder, if you notice, the grain goes up this way. So if you want this to go up this way, I'm sorry, let's do it this way. It goes this way. So if you want this to go up instead of sideways, you need to put your card in like this to emboss it and get that look, because our card is going to be this direction. But if you're going to do a card that's, you know, going this direction, then you'd want to face it this way and you'll get the grain going this way. So, okay, so to get our planks, all you need is a scoreboard. Here, and a scoring tool. So I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick and my tip for it. So the Take Your Pick tool comes with this when you get it, and I'm going to use the smaller ball. And so I'm just going to place this into my scoreboard, and I'm going to score at 1/2 inch, and it will actually work that embossed timber look kind of out there in the lines. So I'm just going to get that in there so it's defined. And then you're going to do every inch after that, and that gives the wider plank with the smaller one looking like it was kind of cut off on either end. So we're scoring at 1.5. So 1/2 inch, 1.5, 2.5, and 3.5. And now we've got our score marks in there that makes it looks like slats of wood. Now, because we are actually going to make a couple of different versions of this card, I'm going to go ahead and get this one done, this other timber one, and put the planks in it. 1.5, so 1/2 inch, 1.5, 2.5, and 3.5. Okay, I'm going to take this out. All right, so we've got those prepared for our cards. Now for this one, we are going to, I picked Old Olive. I did gold heat embossing, and I used the sentiment from Trimming the Tree, which is, the stamp set might be available. I'll have to look. Let me check that. We have a couple in the catalog, the annual catalog here that's in there. I'm not sure if that one made it. That one did not make it. So it is a retired set, but I thought, you know, I only have a couple of Christmas sets, so I'm going to bring out my older ones. But I used the Sending Christmas Cheer from this set for this, and I heat embossed it with the gold powder, with the gold heat emboss powder, and I think it turned out so pretty. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and mount this timber background, embossed background. Grab my glue. Get my elements up here. Now I happened to pick up that tree punch. I think it was on clearance. I'm not really sure. I think it was. But I didn't even know about Stampin' Up! When that set was out. Otherwise I probably would have grabbed the whole set. But that's okay. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead. This card is 11 by 4 1/4, and you're just going to score it at 5.5. And then we're going to go ahead and attach this embossed piece here, and I'm just going to make sure it all goes down, because it's embossed. It will want to curl on the edges there, and I'm just going to make sure that's down really, really good. Okay, there we go. Now our next piece we want to put on is this one right here. So let's go ahead and attach that. I'm just going to hold it up so I can make sure it's straight. That looks good. And then we're going to go ahead and attach our sentiment. There we go. And now we'll go ahead and add this punched tree. I'm trying to be careful because I go a little bit too much with this glue, and then my hands are all sticky. I'm just going to kind of make sure it's straight and just kind of get that down in the bottom corner there. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and add our inside piece. Now, a lot of people that I make cards for, I do sell some of my cards, but I also give them to my church, and they prefer them to be blank on the inside, and so do my customers. So I don't do too much. Sometimes I'll stamp on the inside, but I generally don't put any sentiments. Every once in a while I will, but I generally don't put anything on the inside. Okay. So the last thing to finish this card, we have these metallic enamel effects. I love these things. And that's what I did on this here, is I used the gold one and did that for my embellishment. So we have a set that has the gold, the copper, and the silver. And then I didn't bring the other color. There's black, white, and red, because I'm not going to use black on this. So, but for this one, I'm going to go ahead, since I embossed in gold, I'm going to use the gold metallic enamel effects. And I'm just going to put, like I would a gem, put a little, let's see, how did I do that? Well, I guess we're going to be doing this one a little bit different, and that's okay. And then I'm going to put one right there. So, and a trick so that they kind of sit down a little bit is just, and that'll make it go down. And now you want to set this aside and don't touch it until it dries. It takes a little while to dry. Okay. So if you don't have the tree punch, you could really do anything with this. So I brought in a couple others that we could use. So here is one using the same color, and I'm using the tree die from this Trimming the Tree set. And if you don't have this, that's fine. You can bring out one of your other stamp or die sets or punches to do that, but just showing you what it will look like. I actually haven't made one yet with using something different. So I'm still going to use the same timber for this one. So we're going to go ahead and get that attached. And I can't do too many because I only have so much room for my enamel effects to dry. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get this down. It's a great way to add your little embellishments without, if you don't have any gems. I mean, this stuff will last a long, long time. I don't know when it dries up. I'll probably use it up before it dries up because I really love that. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and add our piece here. And what I did here for the sentiment is I used our copper heat embossing powder, and that is just stunning. I think it's stunning. It's so pretty. And I really like our powders. I had some other brand that I used before I got that, is before I signed up to be a demonstrator. I had some other, because I wanted to play with that. And honestly, this heat and powder, I think does a better job. More coverage. Okay, so I have that attached. Now we're going to go ahead and add our sentiment. And then I'm going to tell you about the tree we're going to add from this stamp set. So if you have the stamp and die set, the Trimming the Tree, get that on there. So there we go. Let that sit there. If you have this set, you can just cut out a tree with the dies and add the dimensions. So what I used is I used this die, which cuts out the stamped image, but I did it in conjunction with this. So I put them both on the cut and emboss machine together using Old Olive. And what that gives me is a, it doesn't cut out the leaves completely, but it gives me some dimension. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just go to the back, and I'm just going to kind of poke my pokey tool in here a little bit just to make them pop up a little bit. Just going to go through all the leaves. It only takes a minute, but it gives a really nice effect. A little bit more dimension, I guess. Okay, got them almost all popped out. There we go. Well, a couple more right here. Okay. Now if you see that, some of these are kind of popped up a little bit, and you can go through and move them a little bit more if it's not where you like it. We're going to flatten it down a little bit anyway, but it gives it more dimension. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and glue this down, and maybe we'll do it in the center. Yes, we'll do it in the center. I'm going to just try to do it around the side because I don't want to push any of those leaves down too far and get them permanently down, because I like the texture of this. So I'm going to just kind of center this tree and get that down. Now what I thought would be fun is to use, and we can use the red too, but I want to use the copper, since I heat emboss that in copper, to add some fun elements to the tree. Maybe just to put like little decorations that are on the tree. It's random. Okay. Got an air bubbles, so it took a minute for that to come out. Let's see, how does that look? Put one up here maybe. One down here. Probably one right there. I'm not going to use any red. I'm just going to use the copper. I really like the copper. I'll put one over here and one over here, I think. I think that's good. So we're going to just smack that. Well, I think I want to do I don't think I want to do any others. I think that's good. It's a real simple card, and we don't need any on the white. So there's the copper pieces. I'm going to go ahead and smack that down so that they're not as raised, and then we'll set that aside to dry. But isn't that pretty? Just a simple card. You could add some red, some more color. You could add some, you know, other elements there. Okay, so the next one I thought would be fun would be blue. So this is this was a I think this was a celebration paper. I still have some left, and this was a kind of a blue wintry Christmassy kind of thing. So I thought that would be fun. And instead of doing the plank, I thought it would be fun to use the new 3D embossing folder that's coming out in the mini called Snowflake Sky. It's so pretty. See the snowflakes there? And with the blue card, I thought the snowflakes would pop out just a little. I mean, when somebody's holding it, they're definitely going to be able to tell that it's embossed with the little snow circles and the little snowflakes. So I thought that would be kind of fun to use as another version for this style of card. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this. Okay. All right. So we're going to just make sure all the edges are down on this. And then we're going to go ahead and attach these pieces. And I cut these out with the same die. I'm using Balmy Blue, and then I heat emboss this with the white. So I'm going to go ahead and get this attached. And when I was thinking, I was really happy to see I still had a little bit of this paper left, because I thought, well, how about if we try not doing the traditional Christmas colors. And I like blue Christmas cards with blue in them, so. All right, so we've got that attached, and then go ahead and attach our sentiment. Make sure that's straight. Okay, there's that. Now we have this really pretty little snowflake. Maybe that would look good off to the side. We just need to see where that looks good. So this is also from another retired set. I believe the Celebrate with Tags is in the catalog, but it did last season come with these dies that are called Celebration Tag Dies. So in this set, it has for all seasons, and I just have a lot of fun with it. There's also a mitten, is this really pretty snowflake die. So I thought that would be really fun to add to the blue. Let's see, do we want it in this corner? Yeah, I think that's where we want it. So I'm going to grab my reverse tweezers so I don't get glue all over my hands. And go ahead and get this attached to the card base. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of attach this right here in the corner. And I'm going to set my stamp block over it because I don't want this glue all over my hands. Okay, and we're going to let that sit for a minute. Then I thought it would be kind of fun to add some silver. Now we did white, but I think that blue and silver would be good. You won't be able to see the white very much, I don't believe, on this background. So I thought some silver accents would be good on this. There we go. Cute, cute, cute. Make sure I'm not touching my other cards here. Okay, so now we have this. It hasn't even been opened yet. Okay, the silver. And I thought it would be just kind of fun maybe to put some silver in some of these snowflake centers here. And I'm doing them on the larger snowflakes The rest of these are just like little snow, just round little snow pieces coming down. So I'm going to go ahead and tap this and set it aside to dry. Isn't that cute? A very simple little card design, but you can do so much with it. You can dig out some of your older stuff. Now, of course, all of these have to set aside to dry, but I think they turned out very, very nice. All right, well, thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy the video and make some of these cards with some of your other Christmas punches, dies, or stamp sets that you have. And I will catch you on the next one.